Hey guys, this is Test 33 Game 1. This is the television programs game. It's an ordering game. We know this because the programs are ranked 1st through 7th, most to least. So I've written down most on the left and least on the right just because I want to orient myself in that way. Putting something to the left of something else means that it is more popular than that thing. So you see all the rules. You see they're all less, more, less, less. They're all relational. So for that reason, we're not going to do a diagram with spaces. Instead, we're going to loosely relate the variables to each other as the rules dictate. And we see the same variables mentioned in multiple rules, which gives us reason to believe these rules can easily be linked together. So first we have J and L are each less than H, meaning that H is before both J and L. Then we have that J is before Q. We know that L is before both S and V. And then we have that Q is before S and before P. So I'm going to draw a line between Q and the S that we already have, as well as a new one with Q before P. Then finally, we have that S cannot be 7, so you can just put down S is not equal to 7, meaning it cannot be last. So this is the initial setup for the game. They're all pretty much related together here, and we know, of course, that H is clearly first. So now we can move on to the questions. The first one is a typical orientation question. So you could just take the rules one at a time, apply them to all 5 choices looking for violations, or you can take the diagram and run each choice through the diagram itself. So this time I'm going to use the rules one at a time. We know that J and L are each less than H. Choice A has J before H rather than after it, so A is automatically eliminated. The others are all good on that issue because H is first. Next, we know that J is more than Q. Choice B violates this, and choice B violates this having Q before J, unacceptable. So for that reason, B can be eliminated. The others are all good on that issue. Next, L is before both S and V. Checking through the remaining choices, we see that choice D has V before L, unacceptable, so D can be eliminated. Then looking at the remaining rule, we have P and S each less than Q, meaning Q is before both P and S. C and E both comply with this, but the last rule, S is not 7, E violates that, so E is gone, leaving C as our answer for number 1. Next, number 2, if J is more than L and S is more than P. So they're limiting things further. I'm going to draw a new diagram to reflect that limitation. So we have J before L, so right away we know it's J-L with H coming before that. So H is first, J is second, L's coming later. We don't know exactly what the specific placement is yet. And also S before P, I'll put that down as well, S-P. Now we know that L is always before S, so we can insert that branch right there. We know that L is not related to Q directly, but J is. We know that J is before Q. So I'm going to put J-Q, and then we know that Q is before S. I'll insert that as well. And then finally, we have V coming after L, so I'm going to do L branch to V. So this is the new state of affairs. Still a bit of ambiguity, but not as much ambiguity because we have limited things further. So essentially, again, what I did was I took the limitation J before L and the limitation S before P, and I related those variables to what we already knew to be the case on our main diagram itself. So now they ask us what must be true. Of course, J on second is a must. We know J is 2, we know H is 1. The other things are all pretty much up in the air, but A is a certainty, so it's our answer for number 2. I will look at the rest, though. J cannot be third. In fact, of course it does not need to be third. It cannot be third because nothing else can go before it here other than H, so B is gone. Looking at C, L is third. L could be third, but then again, so could Q. It's not defined. So for that reason, C is gone. We could have H, J, Q, L, for example. Next, D, Q is third. Of course, we could have Q after L, having L third and Q fourth, perhaps. So D is gone. And then P on seventh is not a must because V over here could still be on seventh. It's anytime after L. So E is gone, leaving A as our answer if you didn't get it before. Next, number 3, general cannot be true question. So 4 of these things could be third, 1 of them cannot be third. Could L be third? Yeah, of course. It could be HJL, so A is gone. Could J be third? Yeah, it could be HLJ, so B is gone. Could Q be third? Yeah, HJQ works fine, so C's gone. Could V be third? It could go HLV, then have JQS after it, so D is gone, leaving E by elimination. And the reason E doesn't work is because you've got to always have at a minimum HJ and Q coming before P. So for that reason, the earliest P could ever appear is fourth. Next, number 4, if V is before Q and J is after L. So two different things here. We know that on the main diagram, V and Q are coming after J and L. So for that reason, I'm going to insert the JL relationship first. So J less than L, of course, means that L is before J. So we got L before J and V and Q coming after it. Now, if L is before J, of course, H is coming even earlier. H is going to essentially be on 1 as always. L and J come after. Then V and Q come after those guys at some point. Now, the thing is, J and V do not directly relate. So if I were to do V-Q over here, I wouldn't be able to relate J and V directly. I'd have to kind of have some kind of looping weird thing like J is before Q and L is before V. That just wouldn't be very clean, so I don't want to do it that way. Instead, I want to put V a little bit closer to L, a little bit lower down, put V-Q over here so I can more easily relate L before V and J before Q. Then have Q before S coming afterwards. Of course, Q comes before P as well, but because S cannot be last, P will come even after it. So I was a little bit creative in where I put V and Q. This is still perfectly valid. I still have related the variables exactly as they are related in the main diagram itself while taking into account the limitations of question number 4. So now we're going to have H on 1, L on 2, J and V interchangeable on 3 and 4, Q on 5, S on 6, and P on 7. So they ask us what could be true. A lot of this is certain. The only ambiguity is regarding J and V. So of course, D's our answer. J could be before V, could be after. We don't know. But D's our answer to number 4. I will look at the rest though. P before S does not work because S is before P clearly due to the fact that S cannot be 7th. So A is gone. S before V. No, we specifically have V before S. So B is gone. P before L. No, L's on 2 and P's all the way on 7. That doesn't work. C is gone. And then EQ before V. No, V is specifically before Q. It could be V, then Q right afterwards, or V, J, Q, depending upon how they're laid out. So either way, E's gone, leaving D's our answer for number 4. Finally, number 5, if Q is before L. So we're just taking Q from the main diagram, taking SLV, and moving them a little bit more to the right so that the Q branch goes to L rather than to S. Anyway, I'll lay out a new one though. We have Q before L. We know that L is before both S and V. We know that J is before Q and H is even before that. Of course, H is always first. Then the only other thing I haven't yet placed is P. And we know that Q is at some point before P, so I'll just branch P off of that. And this is our new state of affairs for question number 5. Now, it's a must be true except question, so we want to find the 4 things that must be true, eliminate them, and whatever must H be first? Yes, of course, it's always first, so A is gone. Must L be fourth? While it might seem that it must be fourth, P could also be fourth. P is simply anywhere after 3, from 4 through 7. So for that reason, B is not a must, and is our answer to number 5. I will look at the rest, though. V not fourth is a must, because we've got to have at least 4 things, H, J, Q, L, coming before it. So the earliest V could ever appear is 5, and C is gone. Must J not be third? Yes, that is a must, due to the fact that J must be second. So D is a must, J is never third, and it's gone. Then E, Q third. Of course, Q third is a must. H is 1, J is 2, Q is 3. Then there's a bit more ambiguity regarding 4 through 7, but either way, Q on 3 is a must. So E is gone, leaving B if you didn't get it before.